going up. We going crazy, going bonkers. Produced by Ziggy, Zay Ticket. Believe that.
It ain't peaches, it'll deceive you, boy, believe me. What you know about a jungle made with nothing but semen. No creepy crawlers, just heathens that prey on your weakness. Smell the slightest hint of fear, and the stainless you'll eat it. Gang bangers that greet your test on their face like Weezy. Pulling up by the ounce, walking around looking sleepy. I'm from a town, no integrity, a broken city, disrupted. I know niggas were real hook now, turning into suckers. When it comes to murder, it's nothing. Rallos get pulled over scuffles. Bumpy road around this motherfucker, your life means nothing. It ain't peaches. Niggas walking around with no feelings, with a chip on their shoulder, saying the world don't feel it. Trying to earn them some millions so they can split with they niggas. I know cats that died broke because they lost all ambition. When it comes out to get
Welcome back to another edition of More to Live For. We right back rolling on this good segment, this new segment actually, Growing Up in Bethel. We on to volume 4 now. Got a special guest, an OG, somebody that I definitely looked up to growing up. I'm gonna let him introduce himself and tell you a little bit how he grew up, and we're gonna keep the ball rolling. What's good with you, man?
No, what's good? What's going on, man? How you doing?
Appreciate you, man. Definitely appreciate you for doing this for me.
No problem.
Oh yeah.
I came in another better room with better light.
Okay. All right, that's cool, man. Like I said, that's definitely cool, man.
Yeah, so name is Donta Person. Like I said, grew up in, the big town of Bethel, North Carolina.
Right.
I really, new to this, so I really don't know what too much to say.
Well, I'm gonna help you out, man. Like I just wanna, highlight the different eras of Bethel. The things that that I seen growing up. People my age. Then it's so many, different age groups, even younger than me. So somebody in your age bracket, like I said, somebody that I definitely looked up to. So we the 80s babies. So like y'all 70s, late 70s babies. We kind of looked up to y'all. So I kind of want to know, like, how was it growing up in Bethel, from your perspective, your age bracket?
I mean, I really, I had a, good childhood, pretty much, I can't say, I really had it rough, lived in a little big trailer park of Bethel and everything, grew up, there were the good times there, compared to the times now, but, really ain't got too much to say about it, but, just all the good times, good memories.
Oh yeah, definitely. I had my cousin on last night, Cheryl. Shout out to Cheryl. And we were kind of, talking about, like, when I think about that, that's mainly what I think about, the good times, growing up, and just mainly like the innocence of being a child, you know what I mean? Like, when I was there, definitely, my younger years, definitely, I went there K-8, so that's kind of memories that I got. So it's definitely good memories. So, growing up, did you play any sports for the school, or was that like something came in high school?
I played football in middle school for Bethel.
Okay.
Welcome. Played a little basketball, but basketball was my forte. Football is I'm a big solid guy, so I liked it.
Right.
So I just I played little league baseball back in the days, but other than that, stuff like that kept me occupied and something to do, to keep me out of trouble. And all that kind of stuff, because trouble was easy to really get in back then in those times, but
Yeah.
Like I said, not like it is today, but just little, just little fun trouble, how the thing we used to, everybody used to do, knock on people's doors and hide and see and all that type of stuff. But
what I learned to accept, the fact that we get much older now. It's like for us not to have the internet and things like that. In the 90s, definitely the early 90s, we still had so much to do, and it still was, it's kind of like we were the internet, to be honest, man, like, because everything that you know, we wanted to do, man, we could figure out how to do it.
Yeah.
You know, one thing that I definitely kind of you know, learned from your generation. Like I said, you somebody I looked up to. I got older cousins your age. So it was like y'all guys, man, it's like, you know, when it came to them video games, especially like early in the 90s, man, like we ain't had no YouTube or nothing to get onto and see how to beat it. You know what I mean? Like we gotta go to the older cousin or one of his friends or something like that, man. So that's what, you know, when I think about, you know, them early childhood days and like when I remember seeing you, man, like that's, you know, that's what life was really all about then, you know, wrestling and video games. So, you know, once again, I circle around to, you know, my best memories of, you know, being from Bethel was the innocent of being a child, you know. So definitely, man, definitely shout out to the home team, man. So, you know, how was it, you know, when you entered North Pitt, you know, one thing that I noticed for me personally, I'm not trying to cut you off. One thing I noticed for me personally, you know, even though I was, you know, back and forth living between Bethel and Greenville, and you know, it's a lot of years that I was going to Bethel school that I was really living in Greenville, but you know, still going back and forth. But even with doing that, when I entered North Pitt, it still was like not necessarily a culture shock, but it was an eye-opening experience. So I want to know, like, your age group, you know, that you had like that similar experience.
Well, it was kind of something different, you know. It kind of shows your independence, but you know, a lot of the guys, you know, I was kind of familiar with because, like you said, a lot of the guys, you know, you grew up with Bethel, and then sports, you know, that were, you know, got introduced to a lot of the people that went to, you know, Welcome Middle School, and you know, we got to with all those and everything, and you know, our whole class, we was a you know, a good tight knit bunch and everything, you know, class of '99, but you know, I mean, it was a, you know, it was a little kind of nervous, but once I got there and saw all the familiar faces, you know, kind of felt like pretty much like Bethel, you know,
Yeah.
like home.
Yeah,
You know?
that's our high school. You know, I say that as much as I can. That's our high school. So I definitely can relate, you know, because you know, it was like, you know, definitely learning your independence, man, and you know, meeting new people. But you know, just the thing about you know, the way we grew up and being from Bethel, man, like it's just the fact that, you know, like my friends, you know, they older cousins or they older brothers, they friends with my older cousins, you know, stuff like that. So it was kind of like I'm a lot of people that I already, you know, halfway met out there. So it really wasn't, you know, a big, I mean, it was a culture shock nonetheless, but you know, once I you know, realized who was there and these people that I've been knowing for years, you know, it was definitely easy to adjust to. I can definitely say, man, like, you know, as far as those like those ninth grade jitters and all of that, man, like after walking around, seeing so many familiar faces, man, long story short, first lunch, and I'm a freshman, I'm in the senior booth. So long story short, so all those jitters went out the way, and just being from Bethel and being around all these people that, like, even though these people 11, 12th grade, we still went to K through 8 together. So, you know, the relationship's already there. So that's definitely one cool thing about the hometown, man. So definitely, man. So can you tell me a little bit about you know, I'm assuming that you played football for North Pitt.
Yeah, I played all 4 years at North Pitt.
Right.
Recently, I played on defense. I played inside linebacker, and on the offense, I played on the offensive line. I played, I you know, started offense and defense, but on offensive side of the ball, I played right ball and everything. But I kind of pretty much moved around on the line where the coach need me at because, you know what I'm saying, we had, you know what I'm saying, that bunch right there that we brought in, you know, we were something special. Me, Meatball, Kelly, Clay, Xavier Dixon, Marcus Pippen, you know, Gentry Bone Hill, a bunch of us. Mark, we are Allen and Brett, Wooten Twins, Rod Harrington. You know, we were pretty, you know what I'm saying? We you know, so we had that winning spirit. So when we got there, we kind of changed that culture in North Pitt, you know, so got back on their winning ways and everything. So, you know, it was a, you know, good, you know, good, well, it was good and fun, you know. you know what I'm saying, like brotherhood, you know, when we got out down that field, you know, and then in that all them same years, you know what I'm saying, the basketball team, they got back on track, baseball, you know, going to the state and all that type of stuff. But, you know, because, you know, we just had that competitiveness in us. So,
Right.
you know.
Definitely, man. I didn't mean to cut you off, man, but you know, just hearing you shout out all them names, man, it definitely like I can remember as a kid, like, you know, just growing up in Bethel, I can remember Friday nights going to them games and seeing, you know, all the people that you name and like I just laid out, I'm familiar with these people because they friends or you know, they grow up with my older cousins and stuff like that. So that's one good thing, man. It kind of tie back into the, you know, that's just one good thing about the way we grew up, everybody from Bethel, man. You know what I mean? Like we never you know, after all the years, man, we never turn our back on each other for the most part. You know, and I definitely think that's a blessing that people can, you know, reconnect years later. And hearing you speak about North Pitt, I definitely can remember all the different, you know, teams that's been good. And, you know, I was out there, you know, the early 2000s. So I already knew the history of the, you know, the teams from the 90s. So just to hear you talk about it even more, man, that's definitely cool. I kind of want to switch gears just a little bit, man. I kind of want to talk about your profession. Could you share it with my viewers?
Yeah, I'm in the business of bail bonding, and I've been doing that since 2003. And, you know, the reason I got in that to try to help people, because, you know, it's a lot of people that, you know, do get in situations that really are innocent. And, you know, and you know, so I got a passion for trying to help people and everything. People that, you know, that want to be helped and everything. You know, everybody, you know, that reach out, they really don't want your help, but, you know, some people, they really do want help and need help. You know what I'm saying? I try to provide that service.
Definitely, man. I definitely think that's a good service, man, an honorable service, man. And like you said, it's definitely something that's helpful to the community, all communities. Um, can you kind of take me through, you know, like just some of not necessarily the procedures, but you know, just kind of some of like the process of, you know, of what it is to, you know, to obtain this, you know, this title, this profession.
Um, it is you do have to get a license and everything to do it. It's a class that you can. When I first got into it, the only place you could take it was in Raleigh, but now they got second party examiners that come here in Pitt County and different places locally to do the class and the testing, and it's a place right here in Greenwood that tests for a Pearson review on I think it's Corporate Drive, but it's a 2-day class and everything to obtain, you know what I'm saying, to get the class and get certified. Then you have to take a state examination to 100 question test to take to and you got to pass it to get your to get licensed and everything. And I know the rules still the same, where if you you don't pass that examination, you got to make a 70 or better, and if you don't, you have to wait a year to retake the test and everything because it's an insurance test. But I mean, that's pretty much just you know, how you get into that and everything.
Okay. All right. Thank you for laying that out, man, and sharing that with my viewers. Because, like I said, that's an honorable profession, and it's you know, a popular profession. So something that, you know, I personally want to know, being that you know, I remember you always being, you know, a cool guy, cool, you know, humble individual, man, and like you said, you always, you know, you like to help people, and this is why you got in that profession. What I'm getting at, man, is has it been times where you can honestly say that you can see it for yourself that, you know, people you know, trying to take advantage of your kindness and, you know, the fact that you are helping people?
Yeah, it's been plenty of times, people, but you know, like I said, I've been doing it so long, and you know, it's like, you know, you gotta know who to deal with and who not to deal with, because the nature of the business is very risky. Because, for example, you can go blow out on a $10,000 bond, and you know what I'm saying, if you don't get a good co-signer and all type of stuff, you're responsible for that whole $10,000, not that 15, 10, or 5% that they pay out to get out of jail. You're responsible for the full total amount of that bond. So you gotta, you know, dot your I's and cross your T's and make sure you got, you know, like I said, somebody that's responsible and, like I said, trying to, you know, handle their business. I've been doing it so long, I know how to pick those out, that's honest and hardworking people that's, really trying to, honest living and, and try not to lose, what their access over a bond. So, people like that, they more, they'll go ahead and go to court, type people to go to court and handle their business and everything like that.
All right, definitely, man. I definitely appreciate that, man. And you definitely, you saying things that, that leading into the next questions and leading into things that, people might not necessarily know. And, I think I'm some of those people. So can you explain just a little bit more, the process of how, somebody, is in a situation and they reach out to a bail bondsman, exactly, how the percentage, is different. In a nutshell, basically, I'm trying to figure out like how is it a set amount determined of what they need to pay, and then how is it that once they pay the certain amount, you doing the rest. Can you kind of explain that if I'm making sense?
Yeah, I understand. How that works. For example, like I was saying, and that is actually state law with the bail bonding. The most you can charge on any bond is 15%. You cannot exceed that 15%. And like I said, for example, how I use a few minutes ago, like say for instance, a $10,000 bond, and everybody know, 15% of a $10,000 bond, that's $1,500 that you have to pay the bondsman. But most people, they're anywhere from roughly, it all depends, like 5 to 15%, depending on how well a bondsman know the person and stuff like that, and depending on the charges as well too, and everything, because you don't want to, lose out on the bond, but and like I say, as far as like to secure the bond, you want, like I say, you want to get people co-sign somebody that's, got something, worth losing and whatever, because like I said, at the same time, it's a risky business, and you're not trying to risk what you have on the counter. You trying to help someone else, so you want to try to secure the bond as best as possible by using good co-signers and things of that nature. But trying to think. But I mean, any other question you have? I mean, that's about pretty much it. That part there. But like I said, the most you can charge is 15%. But bondsmen that will charge a little bit less. But like I said, it all depends on the charges as well and everything. And, so that predetermined, because someone that got trafficking charge or a more severe charge, those people are more than likely can be the ones that, kind of harder to get them to go to court unless they got a good case. And the number one charge that you have that most of them had the most failure to appear on is a driving while license revoked. I couldn't tell you why, and like I tell people, that's really traffic violation. It's not a criminal offense. It's traffic, but that's one of the charges that most people fail to appear the most on. I couldn't tell you why.
Wow. Yeah, that's Pitt County, man. That's where we at. So I got a few more questions for you, man. And like I said, man, I definitely think you provide some good information. So can you like explain like the different circumstances that a person may be they reaching out to a bail bondsman versus a person that's already in a situation, and they can kind of explain the difference of somebody reaching out to a bail bondsman and somebody posting bail themselves. Like, is there a difference in that?
Yeah, it is a difference. It is like you got your different type of bondsmen and different type of bonds that can be made.
Right.
And you got the surety bondsmen that work strictly on insurance company. Then, but the good thing about a surety bondsman, you can write whatever limit that your insurer allow you to write, whether it's $1 million, $500,000, whatever the amount they allow you to write. But a professional bondman, they paying a fee to the insurance company to write bonds, and they can only write, for example, if they pay in 20,000, they have something what you call a 1/4 rule. They can only write a fourth of that amount on one person at a time and everything. So if that person got like a $5,000 bond, because that's a fourth of the 20,000,
Right.
they can write that bond. But if it exceeded, if it's $5,001 on the professional license, they can't write that. So a lot of bondsmen that are professional bondsmen, they do write on insurance company surety bondsman as well. And then your third bondsman is your accommodation bondsman. That's anybody can be an accommodation bondsman. Anybody that got property, a house, anything like that, and how that bond is executed, they'll take the deed to their property, because that's the only thing you can use your property. They'll take the deed to their property to the master, and if the bond is under 14.5, they can use their property. But if it's over that limit, every county, the most they allow is 14.5 on the bond. But if it's over that limit, if it's a $20,000 bond, or their property is, most people probably going to exceed that amount. But then you have to go to a lawyer and get a lawyer involved so you can use the full value of your house to execute that bond without using the bond. That's another reason a lot of people use bondsmen, because they don't have the money or the property to put up to post the whole amount of the bond. Like that example I gave, like a $10,000 bond. Most people ain't got $10,000, but they can come up with 15 or 1,000 or $500 with a payment plan, saying to get out of jail. And that's what a lot of people do. They'll use a bondsman because, like I said, they don't have the access, the property value or stuff like that to take place of that bond. But yeah, accommodation bond, that's another, like I say, any individual with property, land, but they can't charge a fee legally by law. Can't charge a fee to that person out if they put their land or house up for that person to get out of jail. But that's the three type of bondsmen that you have.
Okay, definitely, man. I definitely appreciate you, man. You being real detailed, with the way you describe them, and the different type of bondsmen that they are, man. So I definitely think that's not only helpful to me, but all my viewers. I think everybody can learn something. That's what I'm trying to do here, man. I got one last question, man. I kind of want to finish it up with this, man, but it's something that I always wondered. The same way, these attorneys, who represent, people with certain crimes, whether it's, I'm not really going to go into detail about the different type of crimes that they are, but, it's certain lawyers that represent different guys for different crimes. And some of these lawyers, may receive backlash, just for being associated with this type of person that's accused of this type of crime. So I was wondering, in your profession, is it, do you or anybody may have received some type of backlash because they're helping, somebody get out of jail with, a certain type of crime?
Yeah, in a way it is, because, especially you have people that done investigated a person for so long and all this type of stuff, and when they finally get to prosecute this person, or get this person and detain them, by the time they finish the paperwork good, the police officers, the person right out of jail, back on the streets again. So,
right.
It's kind of, but they understand too, that's our business, and we understand that that's their business and everything. So, but so it's kind of, sometimes, the county bondsman, police officers, and law enforcement, lawyer, everybody kind of work together, if a person don't do what they're supposed to do and everything. So right. It's kind of, it's kind of tit for tat, without going into too much detail. It's kind of,
I can definitely understand that, man. And like I said, man, it's something that I always wonder, man. So, I think it's been a dope interview, man. I want to finish it up, with this last question. I kind of want to know, like, when is the point that, once you realize an individual, is skip bond or something like that, is that when you guys associate with a bounty hunter, or like how does that process work?
Really, in the state of North Carolina, it's not a such thing called a bounty hunter. you're a bail bomber, so you take care of all your responsibilities. But a lot of bonds, we kind of network together to kind of, to detain the person, and everything. It's a lot of, but so we got a bail bond association, and we kind of, a lot of us, kind of communicate with each other. So, but how that part worked, like when a person fails to appear, we get I know some people that has been in trouble that, may have someone up here, you get the forfeiture letter that gets sent in the mail, and it's usually yellow or sometimes white, and let them know that the date they were supposed to appear in court, and then most of the time the warrant don't come out to maybe about 3 to 5 days later, 3 to 7 days later, and once that warrant come out, our forfeiture letter get mailed to us as well in the mail. So that's how we know that person got an active warrant. And most of the time, like I say, if you know who you're dealing with, most of the time people do, they call me Donta, I misquote what I need to do. So most of the time, if we can't get a lawyer to get it recalled and put back on the calendar, and that's what a lot of people do, because some people do honestly miss court because, they may, just forgot, had something going on, or a sickness or something. So, it is a lot of people that, do make mistakes or do forget, because, we parents, we everything else. So, we got so much going on in life that, sometimes we forget things like that. But, or saying they'll get with me and, we'll, turn itself in me to the detention center, and I'll rebel back out and everything. But, but if they don't, I always try to give people the benefit of the doubt. If they hadn't reached out to me, I'll reach out to them, and, and they cooperate, do what they're supposed to do. Like I said, I'll work with them again. But if they don't, see, then that's when, like I said, like I was saying earlier, in the state of North Carolina, there's no such thing as a bounty hunter. That's when, the bondsman and the cosigner, we're responsible for the person. So us bondsmen, our rules are different from police rules. We can do, whatever we have to do to apprehend that person. As long as we got our legal certified copy paperwork from the courthouse, that's like our legal warrant document. Whatever address is on the file, those are the residents that we got access to at any time.
Okay, definitely, man. I definitely thank you for laying that out, man. Real detail, man. Definitely. So, man, I definitely want to, thank you for doing this for me, man. Like I said, man, you're somebody I looked up to, and you got an honorable profession. So I definitely want to thank you for sharing, your some of your experiences, growing up in Bethel with us, man. And definitely thank you for for sharing your career, man, your exciting career, man, and everything that comes with it, man. I think, like I said, man, I think a lot of people can learn a lot, and a lot of people, may be aspiring to do the career that you do. So I definitely think it's been very educational, man. I like the way you detailed everything. So if there's nothing else, man, I definitely want to shout out you, the home team, all y'all 70 babies from Bethel, man. Definitely shout out y'all, man, that whole generation, man. I think y'all super dope, man, and talented, and very, very, very educated. Just keeping it all the way real. So thank you for doing this for me, bro. We're gonna wrap things up. It's been another edition of More to Live for Growing Up in Bethel, Volume 4. Good friend of mine, Mr. Donta Person, man. Shout out to the home team, man. Why settle for less when your last name's more? Peace and blessings.